Hi, this is Jason from Horrific Nightmares. Welcome to another episode of What's in the Bag, Jay? Quarantine Edition. Now, this is where I take 6 movies from my collection that I haven't seen, write their names on a piece of paper, draw 2 out at random, and do a short review for each. Now, returning back from last week is The Evil in Us, Honeymoon, Slaughter of the Innocents, as recommended by Mr. Dave Maggot, Seeds of Destruction, and making its debut this week, The Final Wish, and as another recommendation from Rob's collection, Plague. Let me give the bag a good tussle. And we'll see what we watched this week. Alright. Selection number 1 is The Final Wish. Let's see. And selection number 2 is Slaughter of the Innocents. So I'm going to sit those aside while I sit all the rest of the movies side by side by side and take my trusty Freddy vs. Jason die. And we're going to see what comes back next week. Remember, if it rolls a Freddy vs. Jason or a 5, I have to redo it. And Frankie's eagerly awaiting. Aren't you, bud? Yeah. Alright. Two movies come back. Let's give the bag another good tussle. Let's see what comes back next week. Alright, we have as our first selection Seeds of Destruction and The Evil in Us. So if you want to see Plague get reviewed or Honeymoon, definitely vote for them. Right now I'm going to go watch Slaughter of the Innocents and The Final Wish and come back with short reviews for each. Later. Well, I'm back. I just watched The Final Wish, and here are my thoughts. The Final Wish is a 2018 film which runs approximately 95 minutes and is directed by Timothy Woodward Jr. Now, he was responsible for No Malone, which I actually have, and I kind of want to watch it, Throwdown, and 7 Faces of Jack the Ripper. Now, this stars Lynn Shay as Kate Hammond. She was in Insidious 1 through 4, Alone in the Dark, and Ambition. Michael Welch is Aaron Hammond. He was in Bloodcraft, I'll Be Watching, and The Last Survivors. And finally, Melissa Bologna as Lisa. She was in Mara, Malicious, and a film that Bronco Juggalo Talks Movies has reviewed and talked about called The Super. Now, this movie grossed $25,183 in the USA, and it had a worldwide gross of $95,215. And it actually has a very small role with Tony Todd. Now, the house used in the film is the same house used in Annabelle Creation, which I thought was pretty neat. This movie is basically The Monkey's Paw. Now, I have seen so many different renditions of The Monkey's Paw, I'm kind of sick of it. This, on the other hand, was kind of a different take. Now, you have Aaron, who is a lawyer, basically kind of like a loser type, kind of like Peter Parker. You know, his job's not going real well. He got locked out of his apartment. He doesn't have any money. And he gets a call from a old girlfriend that his father has passed away. And he has to go back and not only be with his mom, but kind of settle up his father's affairs. She's not really very nice um, throughout most of the film. And a lot of the characters, I would say, are a little bit on the unlikable side. Although he does have friends there and he, gets back and talks to them and everything like that. Well, his father owned it seemed like an antique store, and they had all the products at his house for them to kind of go through. And of course, the mother is not ready yet to let go, so she doesn't want any of it sold, so it kind of just lays around the house. Well, he starts making wishes and finds out that one of the pieces in his father's antique store is contains a jinn, which is a genie. And his wishes start to come true, but unfortunately, there is a cost for every wish. That means something else goes bad, someone has to die, so on and so forth. There has to be a yin to every yang. Yeah. This was a little bit on the more brutal side from any of the other Monkey's Paw movies that I've seen. And it doesn't stay with the standard three wishes, which I was pretty happy about because I'm kind of sick of all that. I was surprised. I wasn't really expecting much about it because I haven't heard many good things about this film, but I was actually kind of surprised in how much I liked it. So I will recommend this to people who like a good story and actually aren't sick of the Monkey's Paw, which I am, but like I said, this one wasn't too bad. So, and I will be back with our second feature in a few. Okay, I'm back with our second feature, which is Slaughter of the Innocents. Now, Slaughter of the Innocents is a 1993 film which runs 104 minutes and is written and directed by James Glickenhaus. Now, he was responsible for The Soldier, which I've seen. Most people think it's boring, but I kind of liked it. The Exterminator, which I happen to be a fan of, and Time Master, which I've never seen. Now, this stars Scott Glenn as Stephen Broderick. He was in Silence of the Lambs, The Keep, and Silverado. Darlene Flugel as Susan Broderick. Now, she passed away on December 15th, 2017, at the age of 64. She was in Pet Sematary 2, Scanner Cop, and Darkman 3. Die, Darkman, Die. And finally, Jesse Cameron Glickenhaus as Jesse. He was in Time Master and The Protector. Now, the budget on this film was $5 million, and the movie was released under the name The Ark. That's the alternate title for the film. And it's the feature film of Aaron Eckhart. Aaron Eckhart has a very brief cameo in this, and it also has Kevin Sorbo in it when he is very, very young. Both of them are very young. Now, this was recommended to me kind of by Dave. We started talking about this one, Dave Maggot and I, and he said that he was going to pick this one up because he liked it and saw it when he was younger. And I said, wait a minute, I think I have that movie. So I went upstairs and I picked it out of my collection and, decided to give it a whirl. This movie is a lot of fun. It is a horror film, but it is more of a serial killer type thriller than a horror film. The horror comes in at the end, and it comes in strong. What you have is a serial killer who is killing children, but they're not really sure why. A couple people have been blamed, and actually one guy gets he gets killed by lethal injection when he actually didn't do anything. Now, Scott Glenn is the FBI profiler, and his son is smarter than the average kid, I guess. His son basically is giving him facts on his computer that the police may have missed in some of the child killings. Now, this kid is incredibly smart, a little bit too smart for my liking. I didn't really buy some of it, but a kid's a kid, and he ends up getting himself into trouble because he starts to do things on his own. Um, because of course his father is works for the FBI or the CIA or whatever it is. So he gets on planes by himself and starts to see if his theories pan out by himself, which is not exactly advised because the kid is probably around, I think he's 12, if I'm not mistaken. Could be younger than that. But he ends up getting himself caught by the serial killer, and the rest you're going to have to find out for yourself. Like I said, this is a really, really good movie. I didn't buy all the wisdom of the kid. I mean, that was a little hard to swallow at times. But all in all, it was a very good movie with a very good story. And the horror comes in at the end. It's pretty brutal. So, but yeah, definite recommendation. Thank you from Dave for recommending this one to me. I really enjoyed it. And don't forget to vote for which ones didn't make it so that they can come back next week. And if you like what you see in here, hit that like button and subscribe. And until next time, peace.